Okay. So thanks everybody for hopping on. So Ashley, I totally invited a bunch of the leaders and their teams on our, so you have more people to talk to, and you're awesome. So I'm like, okay, more people need to hear this live. So if you don't know who Ashley is, you guys, last year, so 2017, she ended up as a premier coach. So that's, you still have the elite points, but you're our 2-star diamond. Okay. And now she is retired first grade teacher, 9-star in her first business center, 3-star in her second business center, diamond in her third. She's number 23, which is amazing. 38 months in Success Club consecutively. She has advanced 25 diamonds in her entire downline this year, which is amazing. And she locked in elite already, but she locked it in March. So in the first 3 months, she had already locked in elite for this year. So that's pretty rad. So yeah, if you guys have, we'll just kind of let her talk. If you have questions, just type it in the chat and she can kind of just look through the chat, or I'll ask some questions too. So go ahead and mute yourself and just kind of tell your story.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm like, teacher through and through. And so before I jump into my story, and I really do want to talk to you guys a little bit about who I am, because I was so super stagnant in my business. I've been in this business for 3.5 years, and I was a diamond coach for 2 years and 2 months of that time. And I was the type of person, and I'll get a little bit deeper into this, but I was the type of person where I thought diamond was it. I just lived at diamond. I thought that I was going to be making $300 a week for the rest of my life. And it was truly about mastering my mindset and taking that to the next level in order for me to max out my business, max out my potential, and continuously grow that growth mindset. So a little bit about me. My name is Ashley Feldeisen. I am 26 years old. I wanted to be a teacher my entire life. I grew up wanting to teach, and I never changed my mind. I went to my undergrad. I got my undergrad in elementary education. And while actually my senior year of high school, my now fiance and I met our first time. We met on vacation. And then our junior year of college, we actually decided to start dating. Well, he was in Baltimore and I was living in Buffalo, New York, where I was going to college and where I was from. I'm actually from Rochester, New York. He's born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland. And it was May of 2014 where I was just about to graduate college, and we had to make the decision whether I was going to pick up my life and move it to Baltimore, or if he was going to pick up his life and move it to Buffalo or Rochester. So because of the lack of jobs in Rochester, I picked up my life and I moved it right into his parents' house because I had zero savings. I had no money to buy an apartment, especially outside of Baltimore. So we were forced to move into his parents' house. Hi, we're back in his parents' house now. Again, I'll get to that in a second. But we live in a basement. So everybody's like, how do you take photos? My life is so boring. I'm like, I live in a basement. Get a selfie light, because that's literally my life. And I don't leave my basement either. I live in a cave. So I moved right into his parents' house, and I fell right into what I thought at the time was my dream teaching position. And it probably would have been if something shinier didn't come along. I fell right into my dream master's program. I wanted to be a reading specialist. And I was waking up every single morning, and I was driving roughly 45 minutes to an hour from Baltimore right outside of DC every single day. And so it was like honeymoon at first. I loved the idea of teaching. I was 21 years old. I was so super duper proud of myself. And about 4 to 5 months went by of that, just pouring into my education and pouring into my career, that I realized that I had nothing more to pour in. I was consistently trying to pour out of this empty cup, and I was never refilling it back up. And so it came January of 2015, new year, new me. I decided I needed to do something. So I signed up for a gym. I would wake up at 4 a.m., drive from Baltimore-ish, I live 15 minutes outside of Baltimore, to the midway point of, from where I went to work. So I would drive roughly 20 minutes there. I would shower, or I would run 3 miles every single morning. I would shower, and then I would get ready there, and I would drive to work. And that just didn't work for me. It was draining me. I would get excited on Monday, and by Wednesday it was like just draining everything out of me. And I stopped going. I didn't have anybody to hold me accountable. I wasn't seeing results, and I was so afraid of touching weights. And so I was the type of person where I had no knowledge in health and wellness. Like my brother owned a CrossFit gym, and health and fitness was always his thing. And I had been so heavy my entire life. I was always like the bigger friend growing up. And I had no knowledge, and it was never like my thing. So I was on Instagram. I didn't have a Facebook. And in the midst of like me feeling like just like crap, like I needed to find something, I found my coach Caitlin on social media. And Caitlin actually was my childhood friend. And she posted this before and after photo on social media. And I don't ever remember following her before this. I don't ever remember her talking about this coaching opportunity. I just remember seeing this before and after photo. And I remember seeing it and just like craving that pride that she had. And I actually remember saying like, she looks like me on the left, and I want to look like her on the right. And like I said, it wasn't this, like, I want her body. It was like, I crave to have this pride that she has. She has accomplished something. She's found something that works for her. And my entire life has been full of broken promises. I've never stuck to anything. I asked for a Nutrisystem for my 16th birthday, quit that. Did Weight Watchers with my mom, quit that. Never stuck to anything. And so I just craved to have something to accomplish. So I got started, and it was just like the one thing that finally kind of made sense for me. And this is so freaking cheesy, but it was the before and after photo that changed my life. And so I was like the dream challenger. I was waking up at 4 a.m., getting my workout done. Like I was crushing it. She like told me personal development to listen to on my way to work as a challenger. And I just like fell in love with my journey. And I'll tell you what, I think that's why I was such a strong coach coming out from the gate, because I led with that. I led with the ability to allow myself to just fall in love with my journey. And so what Caitlin did for me was truly allow me to see myself in her story. When Caitlin showed that before and after photo, number one, it made me watch her closer. Number two, I got to look inside of her and see, well, she's busy. She's clearly making this work. Why can't I? So I had the ability to look at Caitlin and see, well, if she can, I can. And so as coaches, that's truly what we do. We are a reflection of, sharing our story and just helping the other Ashleys and Brees and, I'm trying to look at your guys' names, Cozies of the world see themselves through our story, right? And that's like, whenever I have a coach say, okay, what do you do? Like, what is this coaching thing all about? I always say, my main goal is to stand myself on social media and just prove to the other Ashleys of the world that they're as capable as I am through my story. And that's what it's all about. And then I always say this, I say, I'm so busy filling up my own cup that it overflows into other people. That's what we do as coaches. And it's such a beautiful process, but that's truly what Caitlin did for me. So when she offered me the coaching opportunity, number one, I had no idea what it was about, but I said yes to it because it was like, well, if she can get me to sign up, then I can get anybody to sign up, right? It was just like a no-brainer. And at the beginning, it was like rainbows and butterflies, everything, like it came easy to me. I went through my warm market because I was getting such crazy results. And then November of 2015 hit, and I'm like, shit, I have no more warm market left. And that was the one and only month in the last 3.5 years that I missed Success Club, and I had hit Success Club 4. And it was like that was like the smack in the face that I needed. And that was also the month that I signed up to go to Chalene Johnson's training that next February. And at Chalene Johnson's training in February, I decided that I was not going to go back to work that next year. So in February of 2016, I decided that I'm going to go all in on this business. I'm not going to play small. My coach is telling me to reach out to my cold market. Ashley, I need to reach out to my cold market. And now my business is 99.9% my cold market through and through. But here's what I want you guys to remember, that when you do start reaching out to your cold market, your goal is to bring them in and make them not be your cold market anymore. And that's such a beautiful, I'm kind of on a tangent at this point, but that's such a beautiful part of what we do in this business that's such a beautiful part of Instagram and social media in general, is that we share our stories so much. We share who we are. Like my dogs live on social media. I'm planning a wedding. I'm building a house. I live in a 200 square foot basement. Like I love fashion. I love clothes. I love makeup. Like those things are a part of who I am, and health and wellness is a part of who I am. And I'm sharing those pieces of my life with my followers, and I'm inviting them in to my warm market. And so whenever you're like, oh, I'm so afraid to reach out to my cold market, then don't have a cold market. Make them your warm market. And that's how I train my coaches, is to truly just understand who you are and share that social media. So this is Tyler, my handsome fiance. We're getting married soon. I can say next year. In 12 days, I can say next year. But we're getting married in 2 years, 2020. We pushed off our wedding because we're building a house right now. This is Deacon. This is Gavin. They're both 3 years old. This is my incredible team at Summit. And that's me. If you guys do want to follow me on social media, my name is Ash Feldeisen over there. Okay, so let's talk about the controllable things. So there are so many things that we cannot control in our lives, right? One of them are people's opinions of us. So we need to throw that away. We need to understand that, nope, we can't control them, so we're not going to focus on them. Instead, we're going to shift our focus on the things that we can control. So I know right away, sorry, this is annoying. I know right away, that in my business, I can control roughly like 3 main things. Number 1, I can control my workouts and my nutrition. Remember what I said about why I think I, really started as a strong coach? Because I fell in love with my journey. And so that's one thing that you're in full control of. And that needs to be something that you shift into. If you are not totally in love with your journey, the second you fall in love with your journey is the second you're going to fall in love deeper with coaching. And you're going to have more people come to you. And you're going to have this ray of light on social media. You're going to know how to talk on social media, because the second you start focusing on yourself, everything starts falling into place, including your self-awareness. You're going to know your voice on social media. You're going to know who you are, and you're going to grow into that. Like Ashley McClellan's like the perfect example of that. Look at her and her incredible transformation. And like her business didn't blow up this year just because she worked hard and her, in sending invites. It's because she focused on herself, and people got to see that ray of light, and they're now attracted to that. And I think that so often in this business, we think, oh no, our main things, we need to double our invites, and we need to like 10x the amount of follow-ups we're sending, and the amount of hey girls that we're sending. But really the controllable things that we need to 10x in our lives is our self-awareness with ourselves. One big thing that I teach my coaches on is maybe not doubling the invites you're sending, but doubling the amount of eyes that you're getting on you, and doubling or enhancing the type of content you're creating on your social media. So that's number 2. One controllable thing you can control is your health and your wellness. The second thing you can control is the value that you're giving people. Whenever my coaches are like, I really struggle to create value in content, I say, well, go read personal development, let it simmer in your head, and put it out in your own words. Go on Pinterest. This is what I do. If I'm like, I have nothing inspirational today, I'll go on Pinterest and I will just search until I find the first quote that hits home for me. I'll let it sit in my head, and then I'll associate a story to it, and then I'll drop it on social media. The more value you're giving, the more free stuff you're giving away. Value is essentially free stuff. The more people are going to grow to love you, because you're not just there to, like Katie Ursa said on Monday, you're not just inviting them to watch you. You're actually inviting them to become a part of this journey with you, because you're consistently giving them this free content away. And then another controllable thing, of course, is this inviting. So your workouts, your nutrition, your value that you're presenting out on social media, and then consistently inviting people to this journey. If you didn't watch the National Wake Up Call from Monday, go watch the National Wake Up Call from Monday, because it was awesome. Okay, doke. So let's jump into the decision. So in 2016, 2017, this time last year, I was a really unsteady 2-star diamond coach. And at the beginning of 2018, I made a decision that I was going to end this year. I said I was going to end this year with more money in my pocket weekly, that I wanted to be in the top 10, and I pushed hard for that. My team and I pushed super hard for that. 1 month we actually were in the top 10, which is so cool. But we have to take these decisions one level further. So I was actually just on a team call with my leaders on my team, and we were, thank you, Cozy. Actually, last night you mentioned us to watch the Brendan Burchard and the Rachel Hollis Rise Up podcast. So I was listening to it. I listened to it today and kind of implemented those things into my team today. And so we started setting intentional goals. And so I want you to set these decisions. Instead of calling them goals, I want you to decide what you're going to do this year. Are you going to decide to hit diamond? Awesome, hit it. And use that as the benchmark. Are you going to decide to hit 2-star diamond so that you can open up your second business center? Good. Decide to do that. Are you going to decide to hit Success Club every single month? Awesome. You need to set these decisions. And then I want you to take it one level deeper, and I want you to create intentional, actionable things you can do every single day. And I'm going to get to action steps in a second. But your mindset, it's all about the way we talk to ourselves. You are going to, number one, attract, and you are, number two, going to be the person that you decide who you are. So Brendan Burchard, if you don't know who he is, he's like the high performance master. He's the most intentional person on this planet. And he basically says this affirmation every time he walks into a room. And so he says something along the lines of he's going to be powerful. He's going to, I don't know his exact words, but for me, I set my doorway affirmation. Every time I walk into a room, I don't care if I'm walking Wegmans. For those of you who don't have Wegmans, I feel sorry for you. If I walk into, anything, if I walk into a room with Tyler's parents, or if I walk into a summit or something like that, every time you walk into the room, I want you to set an intention for yourself. So for me, my entire life, I've always compared myself to other people, and it's something I've always struggled with my whole life. So if I know that's my number one struggle when I walk into a room, I'm going to lean into that, and I'm going to set an intention, a powerful affirmation for me to focus on every time I walk into a room. So for me, I actually wrote them down. I said that when I walk into a room, I have to remember them. I told my team I was going to remember them. I'm going to radiate confidence, and I'm going to allow my smile to speak volumes. And so when I walk into a room, I'm going to say that I am radiating confidence, and I am allowing my smile to speak volumes. And so that way, if I can tell myself that time after time after time, the first couple of times it's going to be a little bit tricky to remind yourself, Ashley, you're walking into a room. Ashley, you're walking into a room. But after a while, it starts becoming a habit, just like our workouts become a habit, just like, brushing our teeth becomes a habit. It's just one of those habitual things that you need to pick up, and it's a decision that you have to make for yourself. It's a decision whether you're in or whether you're out. And every time I have a new coach sign up, I basically make them vow that they will be here in a year from now. And not just I'll be here in a year from now, but I'm going to be here in a year from now, and I'm going to prove to myself what I'm capable of, aligned to my why. And so you just have to make that decision. You just have to decide what you're going to do, and you have to pair these intentional affirmations along with them, because it's all about the law of attraction, and exactly how you think is how you're going to react. Okay, so now I want you to put in the chat your top 4 priorities in your life. Mine are my relationship with Tyler, my business, my dogs, and my family. So what are your 4 top priorities in your life? I'm going to give you a second to write them down. Somebody knows who Wegmans is. Yes. Awesome. Okay. So once you have your 4 priorities, I want you to start understanding that some things you're going to have to sacrifice in order for your goals to flourish. Okay. So mine are my relationship with Tyler, my business, my dogs, and my family. So even though I would love to sit and watch Netflix for 4 hours a day, those don't align. Those don't align to my 4 priorities. So that's something that I need to sacrifice. And so maybe now, as a full-time coach, I can watch more Netflix. But when I was a teacher and a grad student, I did not watch Netflix. When I would work until my alarm went off at 10:30 and then I had to go to bed. And so for those of you coaches who are not where you want to be just yet, and I'm not where I want to be, but if you are not like at this freedom of time place, or maybe you don't want to be, maybe you never want to quit your job, and that's totally okay, because freedom looks different for everybody. But somebody's showing me some love with some green marker. But I want you to ask yourself, what are my 4 priorities and what do my days look like? What do I need to sacrifice? If you're not hitting Success Club, there's something there that you need to sacrifice and you need to pull out. Maybe something you're doing is that you're consistently breaking promises with yourself. I was the queen of that. I would make a to-do list. I would erase my to-do list if I didn't do it. So I started creating a permanent to-do list that I couldn't move, that I couldn't scratch off or erase. And I would have to do those things before I go to bed. That was my weakness. So I had to lean into it. So you have to ask yourself, what are my 4 priorities? And in my daily life, day to day, what are the things that I need to sacrifice to get one step closer? Okay. So just really becoming self-aware. Truly, Cozy said it perfectly last night. Before she goes to bed, she reflects on how her day went. Was she proud of herself that day? Yes or no? And so I use the 5-minute journal. So I reflect every single night. So in the 5-minute journal basically has you say at night, like 3 amazing things that happened that day, and then how your day could have been better. So whenever I write that thing that could have been better, that is the first thing the next day that is my main focus. And then I write that to be my, what I'm grateful for the next day. For those of you interested in the 5-minute journal, I actually have it linked in my Instagram bio. It's awesome. My upline coach is Patrick Railman. He is one of the greatest human beings on the planet. He is in the Million Club. I don't even know his rank. He's super not motivated by rank. He's super motivated by volume and growing an incredible amount of leaders. But he is such a reflection guy. He's such a mindset guy. So that's where I got it from. But the 5-minute journal is really awesome. So asking yourself, am I proud of myself? And if you're not proud of yourself, well, maybe jot it down or make it the first thing you need to think about the next day. One of my top coaches on my team, my top coach on my team, you guys probably know her, Kate Morgan. She's number 16 in the company. She's insane. She does a brain dump every single morning. And so the night from the day before, she basically takes all those things and she brain dumps, and then she creates a to-do list out of it. So that's one way that you could consistently be intentional about your day-to-day work. And you do also have to understand that your life is not always going to look like this. Like, you just have to fall in love with the hustle. Again, it's one of those habitual things. Creating your day-to-day intentional steps or to-do list is going to just become a part of your routine, and you'll see your growth start to happen. Okay, I have 2 more things, and then we can do a Q&A. So the action, the not so sexy stuff. Before Beachbody created this new BAT, I could go on and on about my to-do list, but everything that we need is on that new BAT. The Beachbody our corporate took the top coaches and they said, what are you doing to be successful? And I do want you to understand that every top coach in this business is not doing anything more than you. They've just been doing it longer than you. I can bet you that I don't send more invites than you. Well, I might, because I'm consistent about them if you're consistent about them. But I don't post more than you. I don't send more follow-ups than you. If you're following this BAT, I've just been doing it longer. And unless you've been in business longer than I have, but also I've never taken my foot off the gas pedal. So it allows people to start building trust with me. And I always use this analogy. Like, if I were to go to Starbucks on Monday, and Starbucks is my favorite place on the planet, I would die there if I could, second to Wegmans. But if I went to Starbucks on Monday and they just decided to F up my order, well, it would just kind of be like a fluke accident. So the next day I'd go there again. So the next day I'd be like, oh, that was just weird. I'll go there again. Well, then on Tuesday, they F up my order again. Now I've totally lost trust with them. Maybe not totally, but now I'm starting to lose trust with them. Wednesday morning, I'm like, shit, should I go to Dunkin' or should I go to Starbucks? Well, I decided to go to Dunkin', and they actually get my coffee right. So now I'm paying more attention to Dunkin' because I know that they're going to be my main focus. And so I want you to remember that on your social media. I had a girl reach out to me yesterday who said, I have been following you for 3 years and I'm finally ready. If I would have taken my foot off the gas pedal, or if I would have proved to her that my journey is not important anymore, then she wouldn't have reached out to me. She would have went to Dunkin' Donuts down the road because she lost trust with me. And so I could list all of the analogies in the world, but I want you to remember that this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Katie Ersta, again, on Monday said it perfectly. She said, I want to teach my kids I want to teach my kids happy the hard way. I want to instill this hustle in them. And so although I don't have kids, that's the type of legacy I want to leave on my team. I want to show them that I work effing hard, and that this freedom that I have is not, it didn't come easy. And if they want it, they have to work hard too. Because when they hustle hard for their business, guess what else they're going to hustle hard for? Their workouts and their relationships and their life in general. And they're just going to be a harder worker. And that's what we want to instill into our teams, instill into our kids. So, fall in love with the not so sexy stuff, falling in love with the hustle, falling in love with getting your to-do list done, no matter what gemstone you are, no matter what personality test you are. We all have the ability to fall in love with this hustle. And once you do, it becomes just clockwork. Okay. And so duplication. I want you to write in the chat your dream coach. I want you to write your dream coach in the chat. And I'm not going to give you any examples. I want you to tell me the attributes of your dream coach.